Well, I think, listen, I mean, I'm 8 months pregnant now, but I always have been on the thin side growing up, and people call me scarecrow and rail and things like that, or say that I had an eating disorder when I did not. And what people have to realize when it comes to fat shaming or skinny shaming, you are talking about someone else's body, and essentially you're giving them the same result. You're making them feel bad about their body. And when you make a young girl or a young boy, but disproportionately young girls suffer from this, when you tell them that their body is less than, I mean, I always wanted more curves. I wanted to be more like a J-Lo, you know, growing up than what I saw as like somebody rail thin, because so many people would comment on my body. But what happens is then you internalize that as insecurity. That can turn into self-medication. That can turn into destructive behavior like eating disorders, like cutting, depression. So if you find yourself commenting on someone else's body, and I understand it if it's like real genuine concern. And I also understand it if it's like, hey, how did she get this? I want to get there too. That's different. But those that are coming from a malicious place, please look at yourself in the mirror and figure out why you're doing that, because it starts with you and me, and if we can change the culture, we'll save a lot of
I have a quick question for you about this. Do you think when people look at the Adele, the after Adele as opposed to the before, a lot of women looked at Adele in her before picture and says, I see me.
Yeah, it's
that
relatable,
looks like me.
right? They're
that looks like my friends, almost like we talked about yesterday. And now when they see the new Adele, they're saying, they're almost seeing that she's saying, there's something wrong with my body type, that's why I no longer look like that. But then they still look like that.
Yeah, and you're projecting, I think, at the end of the day. But I think we just need a more inclusive, body-positive culture, and I think that could save a lot of lives at the end of the day, and that should be the most important part.